Okay guys, I'm here at my endocrinologist appointment. I just got here signed in and praying for good hemoglobin A1C and that my doctor is not a Richard. The countdown begins. I'm so excited. Did you guys see that? Under 7. Y'all, I haven't been under 7 in years. I tell you, it's been so proud of me. Y'all, just remember, I haven't been on the Tandem Tslim very long. And I've been having some stress and stuff, and I still was able to get my hemoglobin A1C down. I cannot express to y'all, I can cry how happy I am. And that just means that it can just continually go down and get better. It can be done. Y'all, God is good all the time. I don't have to see him again for 6 months. I haven't had to do that in a long time. I usually have to see him every 3 months. His jaw dropped open. And one of the weird things is though, like I'm having to tell him about the pump, like the technology, things like that. And he's like, you should be a representative. I was like, you should know your pumps, dude. But anyway, and he said whatever I was doing was good. I mean, that's the first really great appointment he and I both have had. And, you know, as far as our moods and stuff, and basically he did nothing. He still did nothing other than praise me, which he should have. But, y'all, this is fantastic. Fan-freaking-tastic. I couldn't be happier. I'm not even joking. So just know it can be done. You can do it with the right technology, the right attitude, even sometimes with the wrong attitude. You can do it. So, it's just great news. Okay, it's the end of the day. As you can tell, I have my little psychotic bun in my head. You know, I don't have those cute little sweet buns. I call it psychotic buns. So I've got my psychotic bun in my head. I came home and took a nap. That was emotionally draining today. But I just wanted to stress to each and every one of you, if I can do it, and I'm telling you, because I'm so freaking brittle, as y'all could see from my previous video, and if you haven't seen it, I'll post it at the end of this one, or put in a card up here somewhere. I am brittle. I mean, like I had to actually, I was so excited and a little nervous going to my doctor's appointment. My blood sugars were really good, but I took 2 things of pineapple juice and pineapple mango juice with me. And I even carried it into the doctor's office because, believe it or not, they don't have a lot of things for diabetics when their blood sugar goes low. What kind of damn sense does that make? I'm like, Moses parted the Red Sea. What is wrong with you people? You know, what the French toast? But anyway, so I just wanted to stress to y'all, if I can do it, you can. And no matter what, don't beat yourself up. Only you know your body, you know your journey. Even if we are similar, our journeys will be different. They might have similar aspects of it, but they will be different. You can take some of the things that I say, you know, and use them if you want to. That's at your own risk. I stress that enough. But you know your body. And so, but I can just tell you, switching to the Tandem Tslim is better than when I was on the Omnipod 5. And you will hear me say this 100 times over. I think the Omnipod 5 is a great pump. I'm more upset with Insulet than the actual technology. But switching to the Tslim X2 Pump with Control IQ was, at present, now this could change, but at present is the best decision I've ever made. Tubes, you can't beat it. I don't care. If you say, I can't have something attached to me that has tubes. Yes, you can. Suck it up, Buttercup. Yes, you can. You can do it, okay? You do what's best for you. And I'm saying this from experience, from tube to non-tubed, to non-tubed again to back to tubed. So, and this does give me a lot more freedom in the spots that I can choose and things like that. And it is just, and I read the books for Omnipod 5 backwards and forwards, and I suggest that you do that on any pump that you're on. And I've been reading the books backwards and forwards for the Tslim X2 pump. And the best thing I can tell you for any of that is to get in touch with a Omnipod or whatever pump you're on, Tslim educator. I have an educator that's out of Georgia. I'm in Alabama. They're out of Georgia. And I can call and text her at any time. I do not use the pump educator I actually just met the knee pump educator who's been there for a while. She introduced herself like, oh my God, hey. I'm like, who are you? I was like, I didn't even know who you were. She's like, oh, so you're doing good? I'm like, I'm doing excellent. I don't even know why you're in here. I would not call her. I would call and talk to the woman in Georgia because she knows more and she's educated on one pump, not on several. And my doctor had no clue. I mean, he was just, I was sitting there showing him and his mouth was like, well, this is amazing. I'm like, no shit. You wrote the prescription for me. So, do you see what I'm saying? So, you know yourself. But the best way I can tell you, too, is if you start to have problems, every pump, somebody's going to have a problem. So, you have to go through and look at reviews and things like that and see what people are reviewing and saying that their problems are, okay? Because I'm on Omnipod 5 and Dexcom websites, and I'm on Tslim X2 Pump websites because I still have Omnipod 5s that I may end up using, in an emergency or whatever. And I'm a firm believer in you need to stock up, okay? You be a doomsday prepper for your diabetes. I don't care what anybody says. Let them make fun of you, whatever. But when supplies start getting short, and they do, and they don't come in, so I don't care what anybody says, I'm going to be the one that's going to have pump supplies and insulin. Okay, Pumpkin? So, you have only yourself to blame if you don't do that. And I was talking to somebody in the doctor's office too, a man who scared the jumped up Jehoshaphat out of me. I was talking to somebody in front of me, and he was like I was like, turn around, oh my God, you just scared the crap out of me. And I looked at him, I go, can you please put some Tic-Tacs in your pocket or something so I could hear you sidling up behind me? And then we laughed, but he's on the Libre, and I just sat down. And I love to talk to people about all the new technology, and especially something I've used. I said, look, now I've never used the Libre, but I have friends who have, and they like it. He goes, I like it when it works. I said, well, I'm just going to tell you, everything, there's a learning curve, and everything is going to mess up at some point. I said, but, and he was going in to see my doctor as well, which is his doctor, and I said, but the Dexcom G6, I'm telling you, is fantastic. I said, and I told him about the G7 that's coming out, and we talked about that. I said, but just to be real honest with you, most likely, because the 7's coming out, you will be able to get the G6 at a lower cost. Once it's available and is available with all pumps, or more pumps, things like that, or whatever, integrated closed loop systems and stuff like that. I said, while it's supposed to be, and it appears to be even more accurate, I said the G6 is very accurate. So, if your insurance doesn't pay a whole bunch on it, or you're having to pay out of pocket, I would suggest going with the G6, because when the G7 comes out, it's going to be most likely at a discounted rate, and it is very accurate. And I said, and you should calibrate at least one time. You know how many times I've calibrated today just because I've been so excited and stuff? 3 times. And I calibrated this morning. The only reason I calibrated again is because when they took blood from a hemoglobin A1C, they also tested my blood sugar, and it was 130. Well, it said it was 110, and my G6 said it was 130. And I think it's just because I got excited, and it hadn't caught up yet or whatever. But I calibrated it because I knew that it was all, that's 30 points. That's a lot, But it's not always like that. And then I did it again because I had to change my catheter and everything out, the whole thing out. It was time. And and that's when I talked to him about it and just said, look, I'm just telling you from experience. I'm not an educator. I'm not I'm just a diabetic, a very brittle diabetic. And we talked and things like that. And I actually gave him my email address so that if he had any questions, because I'm on it. And I also talked to another little girl, young little girl. She was just getting her first Dexcom G6. I mean, she wasn't like young. She's probably a teenager. I would say she's probably around 16, 17. And I just told her, I said, baby, you're going to love it. I said, it doesn't hurt. I said, I have yet to have one hurt. I said, now, does it, you know, it'll scare you at first, like that. I said, but it has come a long way. I said, and depending on where you put it, you could feel it more than others, things like that, and I just talked to her about it and gave her my email address and just said, if you can, I'll do my best to get back to you. I do have several, people emailing me a lot, and I try to get back to everybody, but that doesn't always happen. But I said I'll make a point, especially because you're just starting out on it, and plus she's here around where I'm at and stuff like that. I said I'll be happy to talk to you about it, and I said who knows, you may be able to teach me something. You're never too old, and I'm not old, but you're never too old to learn new things, So I just want to share that with y'all. And just tell y'all, don't give up. You're stronger than you think, and you're a type 1 strong. I mean, you're battling to live every minute of every single day. You got this. You have this. People don't understand, and even people who live with you, who are going through it with you, they still don't understand what you're going through. They try their best, but they don't. And even as good as my blood sugars have been, I'm still exhausted. I'm still exhausted. I have chronic fatigue. It's awful, but this is such a morale booster for me. I needed this win, y'all. I needed this. Yes, girl, I need it. Yes, thank you. Good Lord. I needed it. So, and I will tell you one thing, my doctor did tell me that it's 100% agree with him, which is a freaking Festivus miracle, is that he said, you are stressed. I said, how do you know that? He goes, I can just tell you're stressed. He goes, you really are stressed. I said, well, there's a few things that are going on. He goes, well, you said you're your husband. I said, really, that's not. I said, I love taking care of my husband. I said, I really do. I said, now, does he get on my nerves? Yeah. I was like, but I get on his nerves. I said, that's just, it's part of life. I said, but I said, I married him for the simple fact that I loved him and we would take care of each other, and I said, one of the few, things I said, but I said, family, and he goes, well, I'm just going to tell you, he goes, you'll never be able to maintain this if you don't de-stress yourself as much as possible, and you need to take a breather. He says, from anybody and everything that causes you stress that you can avoid. And I said, but how do you do that with family? He goes, like you would with a stranger. He says, like you would with an acquaintance. And I said, you know what, you're right. I said, I worked in mental health for years, and I would tell people the same thing, but it's time for me to take my own advice. So that is my advice to you. If someone is in your life, doesn't mean you don't love them now, but if someone's in your life and they're causing you more stress than they are, not, and it is affecting you physically and mentally and stuff, it's okay to take a step back and step away. So I encourage you to do that. If, and it may not be them, it just may be you and your reaction to them, but if you can't control your reaction to them, then you still need to step away. Either they can be the problem, or you're the problem, or you're both the freaking problem. That happens. So, and that's what I'm gonna have to do. And I can't stand somebody playing the victim card. You can say what's wrong with you without being a victim. So, and share your experiences without being a victim. It's like, so I encourage you to de-stress your life. I always say bubble. Put your bubble up, your personal bubble. And when somebody starts to infringe on that bubble, don't let them get close enough to pop it. If you make that bubble bigger, then you step back, okay? So I hope you guys are doing great. As you can tell, I'm in high spirits, and Um, I want the best for you guys. I want you to believe in yourself, and nobody's perfect, so you don't stress yourself out. If today is not a good day, go forward thinking tomorrow will be, and find one good thing. I always say that, find one thing that makes you happy and one good thing, and you focus on that, okay? You can do it. Remember, don't take life too seriously. Nobody ever makes it out alive. Laugh, love one another, be sarcastic, and as always, be the reason somebody gets drunk today. I will talk to you guys later. Bi.